fact, also bring in some breaking inputs that we have. The aircraft in which Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar died in a crash on Wednesday morning had been involved in an earlier accident as well. In September 2023, the same private jet skidded off the runway and crashed while attempting to land at the Mumbai airport amid heavy rain. NewsX has accessed the 2023 report, and my colleague Riya Dwivedi would in fact take you through the entire report. Riya, please take us through this report that we have accessed about the same aircraft.
Yes, Shivani, as you can see on your screens, viewers, this is the 2023 report that we have accessed. This is the preliminary report which involves Learjet 45XR, which is exactly the same model as one which Ajit Pawar was on. And this had a number of persons on board was 6. The date and time of accident was 14/9/2023, and this incident took place at Mumbai airport, and the last point of departure was Visakhapatnam. And when we talk about the details regarding this, the aircraft was manufactured in 2009 and had a valid COA and COR. As per the COR, the aircraft was owned and operated by VSR Ventures Private Limited. The last major operation was 1200 hours inspection that was carried out on 11 April 2023. There were no major snags or repair carried out after last major maintenance, and the aircraft was equipped with 2 Honeywell TFE 73120BR1B engines, and the LH engine had done 3586-34 hours and RH engine had done 4458-50 hours before the accident flight. And there are several details regarding both the crew had valid licenses and were current to operate this flight as well. So those are the details as well that have been given. And when we talk about aerodrome information, the airport is managed by Mumbai International Airport, which is where this accident took place. The airport features 2 cross runways, so the details regarding the runway, the airport are also given. The runway is marked with designations, threshold markers, touchdown zone, center lines, and is equipped with lighting for threshold, edge, and touchdown zone. When we talk about weather information, the report shows changing weather conditions with increasing rainfall and reduced visibility. So one of the reasons that was given that the accident took place was the fact that there was changing weather conditions, which also there was increasing rainfall and reduced visibility, which led to this crash that took place. But everyone that was on this 6 on board were did not die. They were seriously injured, but there was no loss of life. When we talk about the accident, the aircraft was operating a non-scheduled passenger flight from Visakhapatnam, which was the point of departure, to Mumbai under the command of PIC pilot in command and a co-pilot, and there were 6 passengers on board. The aircraft took off normally from Visakhapatnam and flight en route was uneventful. The aircraft established contact with Mumbai Tower and was introduced to prepare for landing. The aircraft was cleared to land on runway 27 and was given landing clearance as well. And at the time of landing, Mumbai airport was experiencing heavy rains and reduced visibility. And the winds were also reported to the crew at the time of landing clearance. And they said that wind 140 degrees, 7 kts, RWY27. That was the instruction that was given to the crew as well in terms of the weather conditions. And the crew had runway in sight and they decided to land on runway 27, which they were given clearance for. The aircraft continuously drifted right off the runway 27 and moved towards apron C. About 40 seconds after the autopilot was disconnected, 6 shaker alert sounded in the cockpit accompanied by stall warning. Therefore, after that, EGPWS warnings were generated and the aircraft crash landed at the shoulder of the intersection of taxiway W as well as taxiway N. As a result, the aircraft's fuselage also broke into 2 pieces and skidded, finally coming to a stop near the intersection of, again, taxiway U and taxiway N on an unpaved area. Following the crash, a fire broke out and fire tenders rushed to the spot and extinguished the fire. All of the occupants of the aircraft were evacuated, but they sustained various injuries due to the impact and were immediately admitted to the nearby hospital. Passengers and even the pilots were discharged after precautionary treatment. The co-pilot received serious injuries and was admitted for a long time. But again, they survived the impact as well. And when we talk about the wreckage and impact, as a result of the impact, the aircraft suffered complete destruction. We have seen the similar incident of fire has been reported even in this. Initially, it crash landed on an unpaved area at the intersection and causing the fuselage to fracture into two pieces and skid, ultimately coming to a halt near an unpaved area close to the intersection. And the broken parts of the aircraft were scattered along its path as well towards the final stop. You can see this is the point of first impact, and this is where the main wreckage happened. This is the final resting place. When it skidded, it stopped right here in this picture. So this was the point of first impact as well as the final resting position. This red point. When we talk about during on-site inspection, it was also observed that the nose section of the aircraft sustained damage. The wing separated and the forward section of the fuselage broke away from the central fuselage. Both the nose landing gear and main landing gear were broken. However, the empennage and both engines remained attached to the fuselage. There were scorch marks that we can see right beneath the right-hand side of the engine. So that's the main wreckage you can see on your the screen, the photo that is given, that's the main wreckage. When we talk about the progress of the investigation, the flight recorder data has also been given, as well as the enhanced ground proximity warning system. The digital engine electronic system has been also extracted as well. Airframe and engine logbooks, work orders, onboard documents, all of them have been gathered from the operator for scrutiny as well. The DGCA documents were also related to the crew and aircraft were also sought. Statements from witnesses and concerned personnel were also obtained. Initial statement from the crew also was obtained, and recordings of radar data, CCTV footage, ATC tape recordings, and hotline communications was also obtained for further analysis. So when we talk about this, in this incident, similarly, this happened where the fire broke out, but coincidentally in this incident, the people, the 6 on board, survived the incident. But again, we can take a look at the fact that Learjet has past in which this was again reported. Bombardier Learjet 45 also crashed in 2023, the same aircraft on which Ajit Pawar was. Back to studio.
All right. Thank you so much, Ria, for those detailed report on the previous such incident. Let me go across to Wing Commander Sudhakaran. Sir, apologize for interrupting you earlier, but we were just talking about this Learjet 45 aircraft. It's preferred by a lot of people because it's fast, and we just saw a report that there were previous instances as well where it had crash landed. We are not trying to get into any speculation, sir, but what more can we discuss on this specific aircraft, sir?
See, we must allow the aircraft accident investigation to get completed before we first come to any kind of conclusion whatsoever. But having said that, looking prima facie at the video that is available and the fact that there was a second landing that was attempted, it clearly points out that there was a problem in landing, and that could be primarily attributed to the fact that the visibility was very poor. That is all that we can conclude right now. It didn't look like the plane had any kind of landing issue, because otherwise the pilot would have called for a mayday call to the ATC. That would have come out. That has not come out. So which means that the pilot was confident that they could still attempt the landing, and because of the prevailing weather conditions, the fog conditions, the visibility conditions, this might could have happened. I'm just still giving you a wild guess. The second part is, where has the accident actually happened? It has happened 100 feet above, far away from the runway, which means the trajectory to land itself probably was wrong, and it has actually landed on the wrong terrain. And considering that it is not a standard airfield, it could very well be possible that the surface would have been very undulating or not so conducive. which could have led to the, all said and done, it would still have been around 200, 300 kilometers per hour of speed. And at that speed, it is good enough for the fuel to, catch spark when it gets into a collision with things like stone or any hard surface. And this could have very well happened. But having said this, I should not speculate. We must wait for the investigations to complete. I am just putting my neck out to put at rest conspiracy theories, because it doesn't point to any of that, given the fact that it has happened only while landing. If it was in the air or things like that, then it would have been a very different kind of a scenario. Second is, it doesn't appear to be an engine failure, because the Learjet is capable of landing with a single engine failure. And it did have a height, so if it was a case of an engine failure, then probably the pilot would have again called this out. We would have had an ATC call. And nothing of that sort has come up so far, but we still need to wait for further developments. Maybe we may get further inputs, but prima facie, this is what I have to comment as far as this accident is concerned.
Right, sir. Please do stay on with us. In fact, let me introduce this piece of information to our viewers. The owner of VSR Ventures, Vijay Kumar Singh, has made a statement on the charter plane crash landing in Baramati. Vijay Kumar Singh, director and key owner of VSR Ventures Private Limited, said that the crash landing was a result of a pilot's operational decision during approach. Singh stated that the pilot initially attempted a landing on runway 29, executed a missed approach, and then made a second attempt from runway 11. According to him, preliminary information suggests that the pilot may not have been able to visibly acquire the runway. He emphasized that the aircraft was well maintained and that there was no indication of any technical failure. Singh added that both pilots were highly experienced, with the captain having logged over 16,000 hours of flying and the co-pilot over 1,500 hours. Expressing grief, Singh said that the company was focused on supporting the families of those who lost their lives, describing the deceased pilots as exceptional professionals and close to him personally. Referring to a previous incident involving a VSR-operated Learjet in 2023, Singh said that the crash landing at Mumbai airport also occurred during heavy rain and low visibility, when the aircraft skidded off the runway after touchdown. Let's in fact listen in.
Pilot का decision था, he made an approach from runway 29, and then he carried out a missed approach, after which again he tried to make an attempt from runway 11. This is what I also have no contact with the pilots. They are not there. It is a very unfortunate incident. We are very sad about it. We are trying to first be with the family, solidly with the family who have lost their best next of kins. It's a very unfortunate incident. Primarily, it appears that the pilot could not see the runway, and that's why he would have carried out.
But he has already taken 2 loops. How is it possible that he could not see?
The pilot will carry out a missed approach in case if he is not comfortable to land on the runway.
Yeah.
Very experienced pilot, more than 16,000 hours of experience. Very seasoned. The co-pilot was also 15,000 hours.
Okay.
1,500 hours.
Okay.
And the captain was very experienced, instructor examiner material. He was with Sahara, he was with Jet Light, he was with Jet Airways, and he was very experienced on this type of aeroplane.
All right, we also have visuals coming in of Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde, who too have arrived over there in Baramati. So those visuals are playing out for you. Remember, Devendra Fadnavis is the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. We have Eknath Shinde as well, who was the former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, along with being the Deputy Chief Minister. So those are the visuals that we are getting for you. Devendra Fadnavis right there in the center, very solemn atmosphere, obviously, because Maharashtra has lost their Deputy Chief Minister today in a tragic plane crash. Let me also rope in Rajalakshmi Joshi, political analyst, who's joining us on the broadcast. Thank you so much, ma'am. Really, really tragic news coming in. We've lost a tall leader, ma'am.
Yes, Shivani, my heartfelt condolences to Ajit Pawarji's family and to the loved ones of the other victims as well. So this is indeed a tragic incident, and definitely the entire NCP and Maharashtra and the whole nation is shocked, and this is definitely a huge loss, a political loss also. And at the same time, there is this leader, he was this grassroots leader, like you have also been mentioning, and your reporters also have been talking about how he was so well connected with his electorate. So for so many decades, he has started with the cooperatives, and then all the rural sectors, like whether it may be he may be connected with farmers, the livestock breeders, and all of that. So, and even when he was not in power, he was holding those Jan Sabhas. So he was somebody who was very deeply connected with his electorate. So obviously, the people from his own Gad, as you may call it, that is Baramati, they are definitely devastated. But at the same time, we definitely Maharashtra has lost a dynamic leader. So that is that can people may or may not like his ideology, or they may not agree with him, or they may look at him as a controversial figure or whatever. But then there one thing is for sure, that you cannot ignore him. So he has, across all ideological boundaries, he has worked with people, and that too successfully. So at all different levels of political hierarchy, he has started from this cooperatives to being. He actually was he was actually elected as an MP, which then he later vacated for his uncle, and then he has been a 7-time MLA. So that is the kind of legacy that he has. So, and just think about the fact that he was actually under the shadows of his uncle, a tall leader like Sharad Pawar, and from under his nose, he brings out some of his tall stellar leaders, like say Praful Patel ji, and he brings out Tatkare ji, and so many people. So he was able to bring out a huge chunk from under Sharad Pawarji's nose and create his own faction. And not just that, he won the symbol and the name of NCP. So that was, I think that is quite an achievement. So just imagine that even after all of this, in spite of the fact that Sharad Pawarji had all the sympathy in the 2024 elections, in spite of that, he was able to get 41 seats, and Sharad Pawarji was able to get only 10 seats. So that was the kind of an achievement, I think, that he has worked his way right from the start, from the bottom to he has risen to these heights. So he was definitely not somebody that you can ignore, and an extremely hard-working leader. So that is the reason why you see so many people pouring out so many messages and talking about how this is a huge loss for Maharashtra politics and Indian politics also. So, and I would say that the future of NCP especially is in a huge question right now, because he was actually talking about, say, maybe coming together of his own faction and Sharad Pawarji's faction. So now, with the current scenario, I'm not really sure about how all those tall leaders, they would want to go back and live under the shadows of Sharad Pawarji again. So that apart, so I think that this is definitely going to throw up a whole lot of questions in the days ahead, especially for the NCP, both factions, I would say, because these tall leaders also would definitely be tempted by Sharad Pawarji to come back to his fold, and then again that faction being a smaller faction now, since they have only 10 MLAs, and so they would definitely be tempted to get back into this fold. So there is a lot of complications definitely in the days ahead. So there is a huge lot of political upheaval, especially in the NCP. Though I don't think that it will affect the government as such in Maharashtra, because the BJP itself has strong numbers, and to add to it, they have another strong alliance partner in the name of Eknath Shinde. So then the government will not have any problems as such. But then there are a lot of questions with NCP. So I think that now, since his wife and his son also are politically active, so there are a lot of chances that they may take over the reins of the Ajit Pawar side of the NCP. But then, yes, like I was saying, that the entire future of the entire political party is definitely it definitely comes under a huge question mark now. So NCP and Maharashtra, and we have all lost a tall political leader who was working right from dawn to dusk, as you may say, and he didn't rest after the municipal corporation elections. So, he has immediately come back to start campaigning for the Zilla Parishad elections. So that, I think, that speaks a lot about how he has put in a lot of effort. It was definitely not easy for him to come out under the from under the shadows of Sharad Pawarji, and then hold his own against this huge tall leader Sharad Pawarji in the assembly elections. Though of course he did maybe face a rough patch during the Lok Sabha elections, which the entire NDA did in Maharashtra. Even though ultimately NDA has definitely come back to power for the third time, but then in Maharashtra, definitely there was a loss of seats, and Ajit Pawarji too faced that a little setback at that time. But then he came back with a huge force in the assembly elections. So I think that he has had a very eventful life, and definitely he will be remembered for all his achievements, and he has held very important, significant posts, and he has been extremely successful at every post that he has held. So, Shivani, my heartfelt condolences to this family again.
Right, ma'am. I would request